Your Phoenix Suns win 3 games in a row. Oh, this is awesome. What a game from the Phoenix Suns tonight, winning 131-106. Tonight we have SunsGeek. It's me, Matthew Paul Lissy, and SunsGeek on the pod. John is out tonight. But, dude, this is like the most easy breezy victory of the season where I started to do some laundry. I started to do a little bit of cleanup around the apartment while this game was in the fourth quarter. I mean, what did you think, man? You feeling good after this one?
I'm feeling great, man. Thank you so much for having me on and collaborating with me once again, man. And, shout out to John, living his life, taking time away from the podcast. But don't worry, I got you guys covered. And yeah, it was good, man. It was good to pretty much be in control of this game the entire time, not have one of those fourth quarter meltdowns and everything. Just too bad we can't do this more often. You know what I mean? But either way, 3 in a row. Glad we got the W and ready to talk about this game, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have them again Monday night, so hopefully this is kind of a repeat of, what happens tonight. That would be fantastic because you want to get on that 4-game win streak. You want to beat the teams that are, the ones you should beat. Because coming up, we're going to talk about later in the pod, but we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule, what's the remaining 10 games after the San Antonio Spurs Monday night, and how it gets a little bit more tough. So we'll talk about that later in the pod. But before that, let's start off the show like we normally do. Drinks from SunsGeek. No drinks from me, of course. Boring as hell over here.
I'm trying not to drink for 30 days. I haven't drank
what?
since
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just
dude. Let's go.
haven't drank since St. Patrick's Day, but I am getting a little crazy tonight because I got a wild cherry Pepsi. It's a wild night, man.
Yeah.
But I'm ready, man.
That is wild. And I'm not even that crazy. I have nothing I can snap open. So before you do that, before you pop that open, subscribe, rate, review, 5-star reviews, all the good stuff. If you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we will read it live here on the podcast, which is just, it's great, man. I want to read your words, your poetry you have for us. I want to read it here on the pod. So now go ahead and pop that open, man. It was one of my favorite drinks ever. Maybe a Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi is my favorite, honestly.
Yeah, I love it, man. Let's do it.
(131-106). The Phoenix Suns take care of the San Antonio Spurs. Tonight I'm going to ask a quick question about a newcomer for the Phoenix Suns.
Oi, Matty. Mate, I've got to ask.
All right. Isaiah Thomas is back on the squad. We are now 3-0 with him since he has joined the Phoenix Suns. Do you think he has anything to do with it? I mean, off the court stuff, bench stuff, just kind of being the guy for everyone to go to. Good energy from him. I feel like in practices, on the bench, always clapping, getting these guys going. Do you think it has anything to do with it? Or are we just, playing to the level of competition, or actually playing higher to the level of our competition, just taking care of easier games? But do you think he has anything to do with it behind the scenes, maybe?
I would like to think so, because you've seen what's happened this season just as much as I have, man. We kind of need that. We sort of need that guy that's going to go in there and make these guys work harder in practice. And, like I saw tonight, Isaiah Thomas was one of the first people up off the bench, when the timeout was called, started high-fiving everybody and everything. You kind of need that veteran on your team that's going to get a lot of these guys in check, especially with the recent, prior to the 3-game win streak, the recent struggles that we were in, the inconsistencies and everything. So you need a guy like Isaiah Thomas. And look, I'm sure we can talk about it now or later in the show. I know Frank Vogel didn't play him tonight, but I am just so glad that Isaiah Thomas is playing once again for the Phoenix Suns, man. For those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for a very, very long time, you guys know that I was making videos about IT way back in the day. So when we signed him, man, I was so nostalgic and everything. And I'm just happy that he's back in the league too. I mean, that's another thing that I think is kind of getting overlooked here is I know he hasn't played many minutes and everything, but he's back in the NBA. And I said this in a video, shameless plug here, man, but I was like, I don't think Isaiah Thomas would have signed here if he was like, I need to be playing 15, 20, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? I just think he's happy to be back in the league. I don't really know if that answers your question. I think it is kind of a coincidence that we're 3-0 with Isaiah Thomas, but I don't care, man. Every win matters. And I'm glad Isaiah Thomas is back with the Suns.
Yeah, well, I mean, being at the game last game, I did notice, on the bench, my big takeaway from last game was how KD was kind of acting on and off the bench and how he seemed kind of out of it. We'll talk about it a little bit later. He had a tremendous game tonight, but Isaiah Thomas was always there on the floor, like he's talking to guys, moving around, making sure everyone's okay. So he is that guy. I feel like he's a good leader on the bench. And San Antonio, you have to give them some respect. Like those fans out there tonight were calling for Isaiah Thomas to play some minutes tonight. And it's funny because he already made his first game back with the Phoenix Suns 2 games ago. And I think it was like the last 2 minutes of the game he came in. So I expected the same thing tonight, especially with the fans just wanting him to come out and play there in San Antonio. I was like, how does that not even happen? Does that just kind of frustrate?
Sorry.
I upset him about my Isaiah Thomas take. He's not Isaiah Thomas fan.
Yeah, my dog. One of my dogs is barking downstairs. The other one's barking. I might have to let my dog out in a second here.
But can I ask you though? So I think that with him not playing tonight, does that kind of bother you? Oh,
sorry.
You're good. I actually enjoy it, man. Oh, okay. He's gonna take the dog out here for a second. So with Frank, the tank, our head coach, Frank Vogel was unable to put Isaiah Thomas tonight, and it kind of just frustrated me a little bit because I'm like, the fans are asking for it in San Antonio. We all want to see it. We kind of want to see him mesh a little bit. I know that EJ has talked a lot about how he wants to see Isaiah Thomas play some decent minutes as a Suns point guard, bringing the ball up, taking some of the pressure off of Kevin Durant and at times Devin Booker, just to move it up past half court and to get the offense going with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. So maybe that's a thing that he can do, but I feel like we're not going to see it. We struggle already a lot with Bol Bol getting minutes. I feel like we're going to struggle with Isaiah Thomas getting any minutes, and I don't expect too much, obviously, but in games like this where we're actually, killing this team, and we already know it's a victory going in the fourth quarter, you would expect some minutes. So does it frustrate you, SunsGeek, that Frank Vogel, I call him Frank the Tank earlier for some reason, doesn't deserve that name at all? Frank the Tank does not belong to Frank Vogel at all. Does it frustrate you, though, that he doesn't put him out there on the court?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess I'm conflicted, I guess is the best way to put it. And first off, if you guys were watching that live, my apologies. Again, if you guys have been subscribed to my channel for a long time, you guys know my dogs like to make appearances in my videos from time to time, especially during live shows and everything. But anyways, I'm a little conflicted on this. It's sort of like the Thaddeus Young signing in a way, because I understand that a lot of fans, including myself, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite and everything, but there's a lot of fans that want to see the shiny new toy, as John once put it. They want to see the shiny new toy, and I get it. But, for example, Thaddeus Young is a buyout guy for a reason, and Isaiah Thomas, unfortunately, due to injuries and everything, was out of the league for a while, again, for a reason due to injuries. So I'm like, I kind of get it. But I will say this, if there was a game to do it, it's this game. If we blow out the Spurs on Monday and everything, and he doesn't play Isaiah Thomas, that makes no sense to me. It would have been nice to see him at least just for a couple of minutes. Because again, he only played 2 minutes the other night and he had 1 assist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couple of minutes with Isaiah Thomas. The fans want to see him, especially the Spurs fans are chanting Isaiah. Come on, man. Just give him a couple minutes. So I'm a little conflicted. Again, I know that probably doesn't answer your question, but I'm a little torn on it. But if there was ever a game to do it, it was tonight and and maybe Monday, especially if we blow him out on Monday.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, man. I think that we should have saw him tonight just because we love to see that smile on the court, dude. Biscuits and the Bears, shout out, $25. Great. SunsGeek, I will give you your share tonight. I'll Venmo you the $6. I appreciate it. $25. Thank you so much. Obviously, the difference in the score, the variance between the Suns and the Spurs. These Spurs games, he does say, these Spurs games are great get back games. Bol Bol needs to keep getting more minutes. Bol Bol soundbite versus Wemby. So this is obviously something I put in my notes. I don't know if you saw it, Suns. You probably did. His soundbite was stop dick riding, but I get it. Talking to the rest when actually it seemed like Bol Bol kind of locked down Wemby and they called a foul on Bol as soon as Wemby kind of went by him, and it wasn't really a foul. It didn't look like. And he says when he got called, the BS fell on Wemby. Yeah, that's exactly what was going on. And I love that. I love hearing that from Bol Bol. We will talk about Bol Bol in a little bit, but your reaction, did you actually hear that? like live, or did you see it on Twitter?
Yeah,
What
I
was your
saw
reaction
it
like that?
trending on Twitter. I wish I would have caught that, but yeah, Twitter's all over it. Especially the account, oh no, he didn't or whatever. That account finds everything. Also, shout out to my guy Legends Productions. He uploaded a small video about that clip. But yeah, I saw it trending on Twitter. Absolutely hilarious, man. And you know what? I know that the referees, for the most part, recently have been better. Obviously, a lot of
Yeah.
lower free throws and everything. The NBA pretty much address that and everything. But I will say this: sometimes the refs need to be held accountable with stuff like that. And I'm glad Bol Bol spoke up, man. It's not like Bol Bol speaks up a lot, you know what I mean? So I'm
No.
glad that he said that, man.
No, yeah, that's what's so awesome, because it was under his breath, but you can just still
Yeah,
hear it. It was perfectly picked up. And these guys talk all game. You never hear anything. But to hear that from Bol Bol, I think it's like what we needed as fans, is to believe in it even more and want him on
facts.
the court even more. Maybe Frank the Tank can go back and watch, film on how Bol Bol, is pretty badass. Let's just talk about him. That's not him.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol Bol, motherfucker.
Yeah, you saw a lot of Bol Bol versus Wemby. It's one of those things you talk about going into the game. It'd be so fun to watch, right? Like, I want to see Bol Bol versus Chet just to see that because of length. But you did see a lot of him going at Wemby, or Wemby going at him. And Bol Bol held his own, man. There was some really ridiculous shots he let go of tonight. His floater over the middle, his little jump shot that he can shoot over anybody. The thing is, like with Bol, it reminds me of a lot of like Ayton, where you see things and you want him to work on it. Like back in the day when Ayton was on the team, there's so much like, oh shit, what was that? I'll continue to work on that, right? I feel Bol has taken the initiative this year to continue to improve every game. And you still see a little bit of weaknesses where he has a small guy on him, and he'll have those kind of little ridiculous fadeaways in the paint where he can just like back him down a little bit, get a little bit closer, be a little bit more greedy. But he's been playing fantastic, man. Tonight, just he had huge minutes. Obviously, he played a lot of minutes in the fourth quarter. But the last 4 games, man, against Atlanta, he had 11 minutes. The Sixers, 14 minutes. The Bucks, 5 minutes. The Hornets, 8 minutes. I still want him to have 22 minutes a game, 22 minutes a game. I do. I think he definitely deserves it, and he'll only get better. Your take on Bol Bol getting more minutes heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, we need it, man. I mean, at this point, it's all hands on deck, and Bol Bol's been one of our more reliable and consistent players, especially as of late. And again, man, it's all just because he's getting the opportunity. I mean, you just mentioned his minutes as of late. It's all about opportunity. It's all about consistency for him. But what I like, man, is I just feel like game after game, practice after practice, he's getting more confident with his shot. And I'm not calling him like an elite shooter or anything, but just the way that he attacks and kind of jumps up and kind of like he'll literally pick it up over his head and shoot it. You know what I mean? Because he knows he has that length and that size in order to do it. And you can just tell, man, that the Kevin Durant effect on Bol Bol is real. And then not to mention everything that, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are probably teaching him. But you can definitely tell that the Kevin Durant effect is there. I know KD is just as happy as for him as I am. And he's just been great, man. I mean, tonight he had 13 points, 13 points, 19 minutes, excuse me. And he only missed 1 shot to go along with 4 rebounds and 1 block. And I feel like he does contribute on the defensive end as well. A couple of times you can still tell he's learning. Like there was one play I tweeted out where he gave Blake Wesley a wide open 3. And, I got ratioed in the comments. People were like, well, it's Blake Wesley. Who cares? And the point of my tweet was the Suns shouldn't be leaving anybody open because of how terrible our 3-point defense has been. And there was a few other times where I'm like, Bol Bol probably should have been in this spot rather than this spot. But he's learning, dude. He's a young player still in this league. He's on a good Suns team, that is a contender and will be in the playoffs and everything. So I get it. He's still learning. And you're right, man. I would like to see that too. 22 or 25 minutes a game or whatever from here on out. That'd be awesome. Hopefully he gets more minutes, man.
Yeah, because he's like that spark of energy we definitely need tonight. In the first half, we saw a lot of, great ball movement. There was only 2 turnovers in the first half for the Phoenix Suns.
Hell yeah.
So the first 2, obviously it's a different season earlier in the season with the Phoenix Suns playing the San Antonio Spurs, back-to-back games in Phoenix. They did lose both of them. They turned the ball over 33 times, but I do say like, hey, that's a different part of the season, but they've kind of been that way still up till maybe about a week ago. And even last game, they still are having a hard time turning the ball over. Tonight, though, man, they did a lot better handling the ball. Tonight, to start the game, I feel like this guy gives a lot. You have to give this guy a lot of credit, I feel like.
And she said, you're not the only one, but you're the best, Bradley. Bo, Bo.
Yeah, Bradley Beal tonight, he did have 7 assists and 6 points in the first half. He did have 8 assists, and then they took one away, so I'm not sure which one that was.
I noticed that too. I was like, what?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense, but you saw a lot of that, man. Him getting to the rim, him actually maneuvering the paint, sucking in Wemby, and then dishing it out, not trying to take on Wemby. He did once, and he actually succeeded. But he was just making sure that everyone was kind of sunk into the paint, dishing out the wide open shooters for the most part in the first half. He is, I want to get your take on him kind of being more unselfish this year, these past few games, where you kind of see him as more of a facilitator, not taking too many shots. Frank Vogel did talk about how he has to give up shots and how he's kind of filling a different role than he's used to. And I feel like the big three have to do that no matter what. But him as a facilitator coming into this year, we knew he had the passing skills. But as of late, man, he's been looking really good at keeping this offense going, not holding on to it. You always want him to go downhill, get to the rim. That's his expertise, but the shot's not really falling for him around the rim. So I like the fact that he's really getting everyone else involved, and then he can get his shots, he can get his threes if he wants to. But this is just winning basketball right now as a team. So your thoughts on Beal, man, playing tonight, and then him just kind of filling that role, I feel like, as a facilitator the last few games.
Yeah, he's been great, man. It might even be going under or overlooked, excuse me, of how good he's been, especially when it comes to being our, quote, point guard and our playmaker, whatever you want to call it, our quarterback. He's been fantastic, man. Just a lot of smart passes as well. That's one thing I've noticed. And again, just going back to him just being unselfish, really a lot of patience as well. I've noticed that he seems like he's kind of taking his time out there, really analyzing everything that's going on the court. And again, man, just, it was I don't even know if that was a career high for him, but it sure felt like it. I mean, 8 assists at halftime or whatever. And he finished with how many tonight? 11 assists, I believe. Yeah, 12 assists.
Unless they took one away.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they took one away. And we need it, man. And I know that people may not like Bradley Beal, sacrificing for the team, but we need it, man. Like, his numbers are going to drop and everything, and I get it, but that's what he's trying to do to help this team win. And that's what we're going to need, man, because we all know we all know he can score. We all know he can get downhill, attack the basket and everything, but we need more of that. And another thing, too, is I feel like with a lot of players on this team, like Grayson Allen, for example, maybe a little bit of Bol Bol, I feel like Bradley Beal really competes on defense as well. That's another thing that I think gets overlooked. But again, we need him to be our quarterback out there. We need him to be our playmaker. And tonight he proved that, man.
Yeah, he really did. Even in the chat, well, shout out to Jamsters and the Geek Squad out there watching tonight. John Tran says Beal ball, definitely. Michael Kolb, Beal did look good at point. It's something that you kind of saw a few games ago and just building off of it. I think even Booker and him are playing really good off of each other. Let's see, is it point Beal or point Brad? I don't know.
Point Beal.
Point Beal.
Point
Yeah,
Beal.
point Beal. All right, so we did talk about the other guy playing great off of him. Let's talk about him right now.
Big Dick Booker.
So close to another triple-double. And it always happens in the games where he's not going to play the fourth quarter. So what did he had 32 points. I don't know why I'm taking forever to bring
9
it up.
assists,
9 assists, 7
7
rebounds.
boards,
yeah. So close again. What the hell, man? This is crazy. I know the spacing, obviously we'll talk about KD later and how all his shots were super simple tonight, but it got to the point where Booker was basically taking every shot they were giving him, and he's like, wait, hold on. I have this much spacing. And then the little extra arc he has to get over Wemby. I mean, the way that Booker has been playing the last few games, going back to even, what did I have it at? To the second quarter back with the, the 76ers. So I kind of go back to that because in that game, he had a 6 points, 5 assists in that second quarter. Once that quarter happened, he kind of got the team back into things. They kind of took off from there. I think ever since then, this team has been kind of looking a little bit better as with the cohesiveness. It's just kind of coming back together. And you want to see it led by Booker, right? And now we talked about Beal tonight, who's moving the ball, doing a great job finding his teammates. But Book, dude, he's really starting these games off really, really strong. 2 nights ago, 13 points, 3 from 3 against the Hawks from 3. That's just like first quarter book again, right? Tonight, 12 points, 5 rebounds against obviously the Spurs tonight. So I just think he's kind of back and taking control of the games early. Like it's been a while since you've seen that, to where he can get off to these hot starts and it kind of carries throughout the game. This is the way I feel like he has to start the game to finish strong. And I love the fact that it took this long really for them to figure that out again, for him to get back into it. So I'm not really sure what happened, but you're seeing it every game now. So your thoughts on Book, man, tonight? I know it's an easier matchup, but still, I mean, he looked good. He's been consistent the last 3 or 4 games.
See, when I said that what Bradley Beal is doing is a little underrated, I was kind of slightly taking a shot at Devin Booker because, you know, he wasn't really that good, you know, during that recent stretch, or recent bad stretch, I would say. But Bradley Beal was the one that was being consistent and everything. But again, if there's ever a game that this needs to happen with Devin Booker, it's been these last 3 games, because we all know the Sixers are really good when Embiid's healthy, but obviously he wasn't. Tyrese Maxey had a bad game the other night. And then, you know, we saw what happened in the Hawks. That was arguably one of our best wins of the season. And then tonight, man, you said it so perfectly. You said, you know, getting a hot start early and then just not looking back from there. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we need more of Devin Booker, especially in the playoffs. He needs to get off to those hot starts. And like, I don't want to put unrealistic expectations on Devin Booker, but we need him to be solid from the jump. You know what I mean? Especially in the playoffs. So again, if there's ever a time that Booker needs to get out of this slump, which I feel like he has already, especially his last few games, it was tonight. And I'm just so glad that he had the night that he had. He just looked so comfortable out there. It just seemed like a lot of them were having fun. And Eddie Johnson said this on the broadcast, man. Like, it wasn't like I know that the game was a blowout, but like, the Spurs were competing out there. It wasn't like they were like super easy shots, but the Suns just have so many bucket getters out there. Like, for example, like they were running Grayson Allen off the 3-point line. Grayson Allen's like, all right, cool, I'll just drive in and score. You know what I mean? So just goes to show how elite Devin Booker is at scoring. And I know that he didn't get the triple double. I wonder if he knows that he hasn't had like a regular season triple double. I'm sure he doesn't really care. He just wants to win and everything, but hopefully he gets it soon, man.
Yeah, no, I know he has to. It's one of those things where before his career's over, maybe like in his 16th season with the Suns, he'll come in and just there'll be some shit team we're playing and he's just off the bench and he'll come in and get like 10, 10, 10, something like that. Something that's just, you know, a little bit easier. I don't know. I don't know why he can't get it. It drives me nuts because like he's always been the good stats, bad team guy.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, maybe he's just like playing against these bad teams, putting up good stats. But then he can't finish against the bad teams and get the extra rebound or so. And when he's in there to get the extra rebound or a couple extra rebounds, he'll never get it. It's just like a video game when you're just trying to get, just like in 2K, if you're trying to grab the extra board, you just can't get it.
Or he'll fall out or something. And I really like Michael's comment here. And I've grown, like Point Book has grown on me, but this is exactly why Bradley Beal is sacrificing. You know what I mean? Because he can be our point guard while Devin Booker and Kevin Durant just take over. So.
And it's crazy how like they're still trying to figure it out. And I think that the biggest thing is just like them taking whichever, like going into the game. I obviously they have something set up to where, you know, we're going to start out with Beal or Book handling the ball, but then they have to pick and choose really the right moments. That's the most difficult part of this. And they're sacrificing so much. All 3 of them, the big 3, in certain points of the game to where they have to let the other one cook. They have to let the other one handle the ball more. Yep. They have to go stand in the corner. They have to do all these things to adjust to winning basketball. And it's very difficult for these guys to do it. And luckily we have 11 more games before the playoffs. And it seems now that we're 4 games, our 3-game win streak, but 4 games have been playing a little bit better as a whole, as a team, just a little bit better every game. Obviously against the Spurs, but even when I say that, man, we couldn't even do this against shitty teams before.
Yeah, I know.
Could not. We turned the ball over 20 times still against these shitty teams, so they're doing a lot better. Let's finish talking about the remaining part of the big 3.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
25 points tonight, but he actually was, you know, cooking in the first half, getting to whatever he wanted to do tonight. Yeah. It was insane how easy it was for KD tonight. The best part for me was the alley-oop. the alley-oop that he got, and he dunked over Devin Booker. He basically dunked on his own teammate from the alley-oop, which was awesome. And Beal pointed out, saying that he tapping his head, just letting him know, like, oh yeah, Book, you just got dunked on by your own teammates. So that was fun. They were laughing. They were having a good time. You saw it more in Book. Katie cracked some smiles tonight, so it's good to see. But yeah, 17 points in the first half. No turnovers, nothing, because I feel like he was just getting the ball in his spots and just backing guys down, but then also just turning, facing them, and they would back off a little bit, and he'd have that easy shot. So it was super simple for him tonight, but it's good to see he has a shot back. I mentioned before last game where he just looked like he was on the bench. He was away from the team, struggling through something. And a lot of people, it was half and half on Twitter. People were saying, this is the way he always is, or else there might be something wrong. So it always kind of worries me a little bit when he is feeling that way. But tonight, obviously, I couldn't see him on the bench and what he was doing. But tonight, dude, he just seemed like he was having it. He got a little bit of it back. And I think he's just very critical of his game. And if it's not coming together, he feels like he's letting everybody else down. So tonight he came through for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too like concerned about that KD bench photo or whatever. I mean, you obviously saw that recent stretch, that bad stretch that we had and everything. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, things happen too, man. Like, it's basketball. Like, things are going to happen on the court. Things are going to happen in the locker room that we may not ever find out about. It happens, man. You know, like, and it's not like KD's going to publicly go out and say, oh, I was sitting at the end of the bench because I hate this team and I'm mentally checked out. Like, no, he's not going to do that, man. Like, shit happens. So I wasn't too concerned about it. But yeah, tonight, man, same thing I said with Devin Booker, man. If there not that KD was really like in a slump necessarily, but if there was ever a game to get out of whatever they were in, this was tonight. And hopefully they can continue it Monday. You know, Kevin Durant looked like he was having a lot of fun out there. Just it was like a layup line for him tonight. And with all due respect to the Spurs, it was like, this was like a glorified practice in a way. And the Suns, and especially the big three, absolutely needed it. Just so happy for KD, man. Just had a great game. And the fact that we got to rest, you know, KD and Book and even Beal like pretty early, that is absolutely huge. Got to see what some of the bench looked like. Much needed win. Every single win counts, man. So just glad that KD had a great game tonight.
I totally agree. And just really quick, I did see comments earlier about Bol Bol, like there's an injury or something. Like, did you see anything? Did he get hurt at the end of the game? Because I turned it off with 10 seconds left.
I didn't see exactly what happened, but I heard the broadcast talk about it, and they said it was like a shoulder. I don't know if he just like leaned back too hard or something with like the ball. And as somebody who's had 2 shoulder injuries, let me tell you, they are not fun. I think Kevin Huerter over at the Kings currently has a shoulder injury, and they suck, man. Like, you do not want to mess up your shoulder. I'll tell you that much. So I hope Bol Bol's okay. I'm sure we'll get an update soon. I'll make sure to check Twitter on my phone and make sure.
That's so oh man, I really hope nothing happened.
Yeah,
I hate that. And as soon as I was turning the game off, I was like, something better not happen.
Yeah, right.
I turned it off. 12 seconds left. I see Bol Bol going up for like a layup or maybe contesting a shot or something. Like, oh, nothing. It's all good.
It's scary, man. Because I had a friend tell me he was like leaning down to grab something one time, and he just like leaned a little too hard and pulled his shoulder out or something. Like, it's scary, man. Like, shoulder injuries suck.
All right, well, I'll try not to. I'll just I'll walk
be careful, y'all. Yep.
Be nice and strong, dude. Yeah, I'll work those shoulders out like that. All right, this guy's. Well, hold on. He's been good.
Big Crank Eubanks.
Crank that soul. Now I mean you. Crank that soul. Now I mean you. Crank that soul. Now I mean you. Crank that soul. Now what?
I don't care about the stats. I don't care about anything in the box score, but Eubanks on the floor, body language wise, he is coming through. I feel like he's been playing some really big minutes. A guy that I'd given up on, obviously, heading into the playoffs and wondering why Bol can't be backup center, but that's just me in my own head. And no one agrees with that take at all, which is fine. It's just mine. I go to sleep with it and I think about it and I love it to death. I think he's been playing good. It's like every other game or maybe back-to-back games, Eubanks has been coming through with some big minutes for the Suns, backing up Nurkic to where Nurkic doesn't look like he has to do too much out there anymore. And you can kind of rely on Eubanks every other game instead of every 7th game or every 8th game or every other month for him to come through, which is about, 8 games? No. But anyways, I think that Eubanks has been playing great. Do you agree with me, SunsGeek?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in the chat, do you guys agree he's been coming alive lately? What's going on with him?
Again, man, just like with Bol Bol, we need this, man. Sometimes, like, forget the box score, even though his box score wasn't that bad tonight. Sometimes you just need like that energy guy, that guy that's just going to compete out there, posterize a couple people like he did tonight, or block a few shots. Even if it's just like little impact like that, like I will take it. This team needs every positive they can get. You know what I mean? And tonight he's been great, and he was great in the game against the Hawks, man. Just doing the little things out there, setting hard screens, blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, and that poster dunk that he had tonight. Oh my God, go back and watch it. Right as he hit the ground, he just cheers like, ah, like I love that, man. That's what we need, bro. We need stuff like that. And he's been great, and we're going to need it in the playoffs, man. Shout out to Drew Eubanks, or Drew Banks, whatever you want to call him, man.
Yeah, I think that photo, they had like that photo, the camera, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. They have a camera that's above the rim, but it's like in the rafters. It's like way up top. And they have like those photos that come down on the key. I want to see that one tomorrow.
For real.
With him, because they have one of Westbrook doing the same thing earlier in the season. I'm like, I love those pics. And I don't know if you watch or listen to No Dunks podcast. They use those a lot on their thumbnails, and I love those photos, dude. They're fucking great. The shadows, it just looks like a different game from that far above. And I want to see the Eubanks one and just have that one painted and sent to my house. Anybody that wants to do that, that'd be great.
Speaking of No Dunks, there was a wedgie tonight. We had a wedgie.
There was a wedgie.
Pretty
so
cool.
I want to ask you, so how long have you been watching No Dunks or listening to them?
Ever since they were on NBA TV, man. I used to love that show. Starters. That was a big inspiration behind my channel, man. It's like, why can't I do that? They were just fans, man, like we are, that just started a podcast. You know what I mean?
They're fucking they're great. They were what were they before that? They were the Basketball Jones. Yeah. I didn't listen to it then, but I remember seeing the starters, Lee Ellis and all. Like it was great. So I'm glad you watched No Dunks.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're a big fan. I listen to him every morning. I wanted to ask you too. What else? Is there any other notes? Anybody else you want to go through from the Suns? Victor Wembanyama, a little underwhelming tonight. Probably trying to do too much. Obviously,
we could talk about Wemby real quick.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously was trying to do too much out there, and the coverage on him was good from the Suns. I mean, you get the little guys on him. Like in the beginning of the game, you had O'Neal, and a couple other guys would come over and kind of just pressure him, put some physicality on him down low, and he would lose the ball. And that was a continued thing, I feel like, throughout the night. So I think when you're just as bad as you are, like the Spurs, and Wemby wants to shine and win games, he's going to try to do too much, and he's not there yet. So I think we saw a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, I think it's the way you put it. He's just not there yet. But what's funny, man, was even though he only had 13 points tonight, really didn't have a good game. He had 5 turnovers and everything. He still did things that just make all of us shake our head. Like, for example, he had that one move, ironically, on Drew Eubanks, where he was just dribbling in between his legs, kind of shaking and baking, spun around and scored. You know what I mean? He had that beautiful little scoop, Magic Johnson-esque pass. You know what I mean? Just like little things like that. And there was one play specifically that I remember where like somebody on the Suns missed the ball. Devin Booker took it back out. Wemby went out and guarded him and contested him so well that Booker just clanked it off the rim. Like, it is so hard to shoot over Wemby. Even Royce O'Neal had a wide open 3, but Wemby was right there to contest, man. Yeah. You have to literally just up your shot. But that's my point, man. Like, even though Wemby had a bad game tonight, this kid, like, if he stays healthy and everything, which he's done a great job of staying healthy all year, if he stays healthy, man, he's going to be one of the best bigs, one of the best players in this league for years and years to come. And it literally is an eye test thing. Just go and watch a few highlights. That's all you need from Victor Wembanyama, man. He's just so damn good, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, defensively, he's there. I was listening to the Ryan Russillo podcast. He was talking about Wemby being Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to vote for him. He had all those votes, and I think that's going to be a thing going forward in the year. Because even when he's not out there, you still think he's out there sometimes. Like sometimes tonight where the Suns were kind of in the paint, they had to like lay up. I think it was Beal. He kind of dished it off late. Wemby's not even in there, but he might still think like he might still be out there. He's like, shit, is he out?
He really does. He really is good on defense, man. It's more than just block shots out there. He'll guard anybody out there, man. Like, yeah, he's got to get stronger and everything, but still, man, like he's awesome.
Yeah, he's incredible, and I can't wait for his growth. Obviously, hopefully the Suns can steal a championship before he gets too good. Maybe we can lock down Bol, for some decent years. That way they can go head to head in the future.
By the way,
we can have our own Wemby.
Yeah. By the way, that they actually did a tip off tonight, Bol Bol and Wemby. Unfortunately, Wemby won the tip off, but it was still cool to see. And I think they had a few moments out there against each other, which was kind of cool as well.
Yeah, and I love that Bol Bol went for it, man. He wasn't scared of it.
He was going at him.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I love how Eric Gordon, I think, is the only guy to go in the paint and just try to lay the ball up against Wemby.
He
just found out. He's like the only player on the Suns. I'm like, if you had to guess one player that would just go and try to take on Wemby and not give a fuck, I'd be like, oh, Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He plays the same game no matter who is in the paint defending. Like, that's just the way it is. But yeah, did you have any other notes though on the
not really. I mean, the Spurs, they're just young. They're going through it. They're rebuilding. You know, it's all about building around Wemby from here and, you know, getting as much Greg Popovich years as, you know, he wants to give, which I'm sure he probably won't be going anywhere for a couple more years. He'll probably wait till Wemby's like established and everything and a true professional and an all-star, then he'll probably retire. But they're bad, but they'll have salary cap space and draft picks, and we'll see what they look like in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, we will see. But I do like how EJ brought up tonight, you know, about Pop coaching, and how he's probably gonna be doing it for forever. We always wonder if he's gonna retire or not, but he'll probably just continue to go. He did mention
into the sunset.
Yeah, he will. And they talked about
for a while.
Him losing his wife a couple years ago, and this is the thing he loves, so why would he not stick with it? You know, just great shit there. And I think even the Pop news conference or the press conferences before the game, his insight on the game and how he just is so different talking about it, and he just from different perspectives, you just never know what's going to come out of his mouth. So I like him for that fact. Obviously, it's very frustrating to be a Suns fan watching Pop continue to coach this team, especially with Wemby, but he's quite the character now, and he always has been, but it's more appreciated, I think, as I get older and I kind of turn into him. Maybe I don't know. That's what's going on.
And Devin Booker loves him, man. I mean, 28 seasons as a coach for one franchise, man. I mean, there's been a lot of great coaches in this league, you know, like the Phil Jacksons, Red Auerbachs, Eric Spoelstras of the world, for all you know, people who know those coaches and everything. But it's like Greg Popovich has got to be up there, man. One of the greatest coaches ever.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right. Well, SunsGeek, if you haven't seen the character before, have you? Have you seen the Valley Girl
yet? Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen the Valley Girl.
Okay.
There's like new characters. We had Batman and Kermit the Frog. You had a pig nose on one time.
Well, I think some of the Jansers are asking earlier, do you have any costumes, anything to dress up as? Or you just sit there and you'd be like, I'm so disappointed in Matthew. All right. Well, here we go.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, sorry, SunsGeek, I don't mean to be such a little bitch over here. Hold on.
I like those glasses.
Thank you. All right, well, Valley Girl here for anybody that's new. I was in the subreddit for the Spurs. You know, the women in San Antonio, huh? a little bigger, they say. So, you know, I fit right in. I was in there hanging out. And this is so awkward to do with you, I got to say, because I always just feel so disappointed in myself. So just let me get through this, all right? Excuse me. All right. It's Wemby trying to be Bol Bol so bad. Like he's just trying to capture his game from Bol Bol, which might be a thing. Who knows? I now can see why Shaq thinks Bol Bol over Wemby. Do you still agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, for this season, maybe? I don't know. Okay. Booker wearing the New Balances Book Ones. Did you see his shoes tonight?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yep.
Did you like them?
There's tons of players wearing the Book Ones, man. I love it. Even college players are doing it. I love it, man.
Yeah. No, are you about shoes or no?
Oh yeah, I'm not like I don't own a pair of the D-Book ones yet because they're way too expensive and I'm broke. But yeah, I'm a sneakerhead.
Yeah, and there's like the child labor stuff too. Yeah. I don't know. I can't get into that. So this
it's expensive. Don't get into it.
Yeah, it is very expensive. A lot of lawyer fees. This isn't varsity against JV. This is pros against Little League. That's how it looked, and that's how I like it. I'm so glad it looked
practice.
That way. Yes. According to my calculations, we are indeed cooked. Yep, that was in the third quarter. Whoever is defending Booker needs to be benched. Dude, whoever was guarding anybody out there was already on the bench.
What
it's like they were sitting down on the chair out there.
Like you guys are young and you're rebuilding around Wemby. You're not going to be like a contender overnight.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Last one here, is I don't want to make it too awkward. Can the Spurs fans boo? For fuck's sake. And it's funny. I was reading that as they were chanting for IT to come in the game. And, quick take from you want to get the Suns fans at the games. Like, it's insane. If the Suns are not up to par to what we think they should be, there's boo birds quick. First quarter, second quarter, doesn't matter. As early as it can be. And now when they show Frank in the introduction, they boo him a little bit. Are the Suns fans turning into like Knicks fans? Like the expectations are so high where it's just the boo birds. I don't mind them. It's fine. But it's kind of crazy to have a team like that. I just don't remember our fan base like that. I don't remember being a fan base that would just boo in the first quarter of a game. I just don't remember that.
I think it's just because of the expectations and the hype around this season and unfortunate the disappointments of this season as well. I think that's probably why. And I would get canceled if I continue my thoughts on some Suns fans out there, but let's just say Suns fans are spoiled nowadays. That's all I'll say before I get canceled.
Oh yeah. It's so crazy because I was just watching the game tonight, obviously. I don't know why I say shit like that. Watching the game tonight and just how they brought back the old early 2000s, like late 90s music for the Channel 3, like pregame, the commercial breaks, like stuff like that. I'm like, dude, we are spoiled. Like we're given everything that we want. And yeah, we obviously I can be spoiled. We can be for sure. But yeah, I'll get out of this wig and stuff.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Sorry, I got my wig stuck.
Can I just say something real quick too?
Apart.
Don't ever feel.
Oh my God! I just broke my earphones.
This show has been crazy. First off, my dogs. Yeah, I can still hear you. Hello.
Okay,
hello?
Only one of them. Dude, I just broke it. I was trying to get my wig off. Look at it.
I was just gonna say, first off, it started with my dogs, and now your headphones. And I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, to order new headphones now. I don't know.
I was gonna
a little too aggressive.
I was gonna say too, man. Don't ever be afraid to put on, the wigs and the disguises and everything on this podcast with me on, because at least you guys have the guts to do it, and that's what makes you guys so unique. Because you guys are the best Suns post game podcast there is, man.
Well, I appreciate it. And same for you, except for the wig stuff. Same goes to you, except for you dressing up as a woman, which you don't do. Why not? I'm just joking. Yeah. But let's get into the Jam Star really quick.
Jam Star of the game.
Jamsters, everyone out there, like, subscribe. Come on. I broke my headphones over this stupid podcast, guys. I'm just joking about stupid podcast, but these are cheap headphones. I think they're $10. Get some.
You might need to take Biscuit and the Bears $25 super chat and go.
I'm gonna have to.
You know what I mean?
I don't know where else I'm gonna get the money.
Because you're investing into the podcast, so
yeah, there we go. All right, John, send it over. You're listening, right?
Blaze Megatron just donated a little bit, so there you go.
Yeah, let's see what's going on. Blaze Megatron, $2 for the new pair of headphones. Nice one. Let's see. You know what I can do is probably start using my AirPods somehow.
Yep.
All right, so Jam Star of the game. I'm gonna give it to Bradley Beal. I'm gonna say Bradley Beal. I really love his game right now. I don't really care about the stats. 12 assists, that's fucking great, but the way he's moving the ball, the way he's getting everybody involved is something I love to see. So what about you?
I'm going to go with Devin Booker, and we've already talked about it, just for him to get out of this little quote slump that he was in, or whatever, funk, however you want to put it. Just almost a triple double and everything. But again, me, man, I always like to do the multiple Jam Stars. I'm glad you went with Bradley Beal. He definitely deserves the love. And we kind of talked about Bol Bol, who had a really good game, but low key, Drew Eubanks could have been a Jam Star of the game. Again, just his energy, effort out there, posterizing dunks, blocking shots and everything. So I'm going to go with Devin Booker.
All right, dude. Yeah, it's good. I think I gave it to Bol Bol maybe twice this year, which is a lot. Yeah. I would have never thought that in my whole life. Saul Soto says Jam Star equals the big three. Blaze Megatron, again, thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. I feel like maybe I don't spend too much time on those, but I really do appreciate it. Like, I would hate if I donated some money. If I was like, oh, $2 for headphones. Oh, thanks very much. And that's it. Like, that'd be that'd be a piece of shit.
Just nice.
Thank you again.
Dude, somebody could donate 5 cents to me and I'd be thankful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome that people do that for us.
I know, it's the best. J Lop Lopez, love the name. JLOP Lopez, maybe. KD, Michael Kolb, Jamstar, the Phoenix Suns, first time. Yeah, I feel like as a team, pretty legit tonight.
And that
dude.
last game against the Hawks too, man. Like I said, that was one of our best wins of the season. I don't even care if it was against the Hawks. Like everybody contributed in that last game.
Yeah, no, I think so too. It's feeling good right now. Kiko G, Jamstar is the whole team for showing
For
up.
real.
And also for Devin Vassell wearing
What I'm saying,
book
man.
ones.
So many players are wearing the book ones. It's great, man.
Blaze Megatron says book. And I think that's the last one. So, Geek, anything else you got for this podcast? Anything else that you want to? We're going to get into a little bit of foreshadowing. What I wanted to do was kind of get into the bracket and see like where you want the Suns to land, how that's looking. But you wanted to talk about the standings and where we currently sit. Is that correct? And we can go ahead and go over that currently after the Suns win. We can go ahead and start talking about
I'll
that.
share my screen real quick, and then I got another thing to share. But we'll look at the standings first because Denver's playing Portland right now, but that's not really going to matter, in terms of the standings. So I believe this is the updated standings as of right now. Are you able to share the screen? Or like I have the screen. Yeah, there we go.
There it goes.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
So I believe that we're the 6th seed. I felt like we were the 7th seed not too long ago, but we're 42 and 29
before the game.
We're 7-3 in our last 10. And I guess this kind of ties in with our whole let me see if I can zoom in a little bit too.
Here, let me take the scoreboard off too.
Yeah, cool. Let me just kind of zoom in too. There we go. See if that works. I don't know. I guess what I really wanted to talk about was just spots 5 through even 11, because as you can see, if you go all the way to the bottom, you're probably like the Houston Rockets aren't going to get into it. They've won 8 in a row, and they were just dominating. I believe the Jazz tonight. They had so many 3-pointers made, and they've won 8 in a row. And they just lost Alfred Sengun, is one of the best young rising stars in this league, and all of a sudden they're winning 8 in a row. So they're not out of it. The Warriors are still in it, even though the Lakers are pretty bad. They're the 9th seed. I guess you want to call it the 9th seed. That play-in tournament is going to be nuts. I was talking about this with John not too long ago. It's the NBA has got to be loving this. That the fact that you got the Zion Pelicans, the Suns, the Kings, DeMontis Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox. You got Luka and the Mavs, LeBron, AD, and the Lakers, Steph Curry and the Warriors, all fighting for some kind of seed in the playoffs. And a lot of these teams that I kind of mentioned have been a little inconsistent. Some of that's been due to injuries, and I hate to kind of use this, but it is March. We're going to talk about the schedule in a minute, but it's there's going to be a lot of weird losses. But for us and for a lot of the teams I just mentioned, every win matters. Could you imagine if the Suns rolled off 8 in a row like the Rockets have done? That would be huge, man. That's why the Rockets aren't out of it. Shout out to Jalen Green. He's been balling for them. We saw that he cooked us not too long ago. So just wanted to spend a few minutes on that. Do you have any thoughts on the current standings while I pull up the rest of the Suns schedule?
Yeah. That was the schedule thing that we want to get into for sure. Thank you for reminding me.
Yep.
I think that where the Suns are at the 6th seed. So, I think it's a decent spot. I think if you're going to have to go through the West, you're going to play all the tough teams. But what I'm really thinking about with the Lakers and the Warriors, they're at a comfortable spot where I think they want to be. I don't think they expected the Rockets to be pushing this hard to make the play in. But where they're at and where they can end up playing against a Thunder team that's young and experienced, I think that's what they're really going for, right? That might be what they're going for. And they also might be going for the Timberwolves too, missing Cat, who probably will not return maybe for the 3rd round of the playoffs. Who knows? But the schedule right here.
Yeah, so I specifically screenshotted it this way because, we're on a 4 or 5 game road trip or whatever, and it doesn't get any easier from here.
No.
We don't spend too much time on this, but obviously we play the defending champion, the Nuggets. I think that's on Wednesday, the 27th, and the OKC Thunder. And even though Brandon Ingram went out with that really kind of gruesome leg or knee injury, the Pelicans are still really good. And for the most part, they've been pretty healthy. Then we got the Cavs. They've been really injured, especially with Donovan Mitchell and everything. Then we got the Timberwolves, Pelicans again, Clippers back to back. It's going to be crazy to close out the season. And then we got the Kings and Timberwolves. I just wanted to share this and kind of go over this real quick just because that's a loaded schedule. But kind of like how Devin Booker's talked about, and I think KD a little bit has talked about this, like you kind of want to have this kind of schedule, headed into the playoffs. And Devin Booker said it right after the broadcast, man, like he said we're clicking at the right time. And again, if there's ever a time to do it, it's right now. So a lot of these games aren't going to be easy, but if we could roll off, a good chunk of these wins, man, headed into the playoffs, that'd be great. I just kind of wanted to go over it with Suns fans because look at that schedule, man. That is not easy. I don't care who's healthy, who's available. That is a loaded schedule, man.
You wouldn't want it any other way, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
These two Spurs games. So I think what would tell me a lot about the Suns team is that they can roll over the Spurs again. I'm like, oh shit,
get that one out of the way early.
They are giving fuck. Like if they come back next game and they make it a close game towards the end, like that would be very disappointing. You roll them over and then you see what you have against the remaining teams that you're going to play in the playoffs. Like that's exciting to me. I think that they can actually show their best against these teams and start to click at the right moment. So I think that, a couple weeks ago or even a week ago, or maybe even a couple games ago, we were thinking like, oh, this isn't it.
Yep.
Now they have a chance to really show that they are it, and they have an opportunity to go into the playoffs with some steam. And that's huge because I think they definitely obviously need that. So right now, the 6th seed, where do you want them to finish? So like, who would you want in a first round matchup? God. Would you want the 6th seed, honestly, to play the Timberwolves? I know Anthony Edwards is insane.
Yeah.
But the inexperience he has in the playoffs might be a thing. But I just think even without Cat, that team is still really good. Defensively, they're so long. I just don't know who I would want in the first round. But right now, the way it's looking, if the Suns have to play the T-Wolves over the Clippers and then over the Thunder or even the Pelicans, who should have Brandon Ingram back by the playoffs. They said a couple weeks. Yeah, I think it was a bone bruise or something. So
thank goodness too, because that was an ugly injury.
I know it was terrible. So
like, if he lost away his knee bent back or whatever, that was scary, man.
I don't want to see it.
I know, I don't want
You're like, here, let me pull it up and show you. Look at the screen. We're not leaving the pod until you look at this shit. But yeah, I think I would take the T-Wolves. Jamsters, let's get everyone in the chat. Let's get your take on who you want the Suns to face. I know it's still the season went by so quick. I just feel like these last 3 weeks are gonna go by so slow and getting to the finish line. It's gonna be a lot of fucking
but I will
games.
say
really
on your point, I know it's gonna go slow. I know we all want the playoffs to start, but Suns fans, basketball fans, please enjoy this. I hate to preach to you guys, but the season's almost over. We'll be like in August. We'll be like, can basketball just start up again, please? So watch every single game. Enjoy these last, 10 games or whatever. And hopefully the Phoenix Suns have a long, deep playoff run, man. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely.
But to answer your question real quick, I don't know who I want to play, man. I just want to not be in the play-in tournament. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but the play-in tournament scares me. And that's one of the things I was wrong about early on was I didn't like the play-in tournament because I didn't like change pretty much. And I was proven wrong. It's like a March Madness-esque event, and I love it. And it gives teams, obviously the chance to get into the playoffs and everything, but I don't want to be in the play-in tournament. I think even Devin Booker and all them have been talking about that. They don't want to be in the play-in tournament either. But you got to play who's in front of you too. I think the Suns-Wolves series would be a lot of fun, actually, whether Cat's playing or not. And it wouldn't be easy because, Anthony Edwards would play out of his mind, but I just don't want to be in that play-in tournament.
No, I totally agree. And I think even with the Suns playing if they play the Timberwolves in the first round, then they would have to play the Nuggets if the Nuggets were to beat the Warriors or Lakers or whoever comes out of the play-in. Obviously, you're going to have to play the Nuggets no matter what. They are the team to beat in the West right now. But you know what? If the Suns can get it rolling here and they can get that first, the 6th, which I do kind of think they will. I think someone just asked what we think that their record will be in the last 10 games. So with 11 games left, I can kind of see them maybe going 6-5 or 7-4. I think that's not bad. I think with the competition coming up, I think if they finish that and they can stay in that 6th seed, I wouldn't be too mad. I think if they can prove themselves in games and maybe lose a couple, that's fine because we just want to see them play as a team, not turn the ball over. If it's a game where it's like, fuck, like they almost had it, then that's great. I think that's where this team is at right now. We have to just see that and feel that hope from them, even in losses. So to be realistic, I think they can go 7-4, stick with that 6 seed, and I think it's a good spot for them. And I would rather have the Nuggets early rather than later. And if they can beat the Nuggets and end up against the Thunder or even the Clippers, it's still tough. It's still going to be tough, but that's the way I would have it in the first 2 rounds.
And this might sound like wishful thinking, but let's say the Suns go 7-4 or whatever. That's great. You know, every win matters, but let's just pretend like maybe the Warriors would lose like 2 in a row, or the Kings lose 3 in a row, or maybe the Suns will get lucky and some teams will just have a bad month of April. You know what I mean? That pushes us up the standings a little higher. You never know. But again, man, every single win matters at this point. So it's gonna be buckle up, Suns fans. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it is. Emperor Day 1 raise is 7-4. So agrees with me.
That'd be great if we could do that.
Yeah,
somehow.
I think that's pretty realistic. I think so.
Not gonna be easy, but we gotta do it.
7-4. Let's do it. Let's do it again Monday night.
So
all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I think it was a fun pod. It was a fun win on a Saturday, really, to kick off the weekend. Enjoy tomorrow, your day off, before the Suns do head back. Well, they're still in San Antonio. They're hanging out with their families and stuff. So playing San Antonio Monday night. Anything to look forward to there? Just a little bit more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, again, just go out from the jump, just dominate the Spurs. Put the big 3 on the bench early. Let's see some IT minutes, man. Let's just get this W on Monday and just go from there.
Shout out to Seth Logan, right in the nick of time.
Right at the buzzer.
Woo! Seth Rogan Hopkins, $20. We play who we play. Let's roll. I love that. Just like in life.
Just like that's the player's mindset right there. That is Devin Booker's mindset.
Exactly. I'm the one freaking out over here, like, oh, we got to get this. Oh, we got to play this. No, it's
like, no,
chill out.
Play who's in front of you, man.
I'm a cool guy tonight. All right, I'm cool.
Cool
I'm totally chill. But anyways, thank you everybody. Thanks, SunsGeek. Thanks again for joining, dude. It's so much fun when you're on. I love it, and thanks for coming on. Let everyone know where to find you if they haven't already started to follow you yet.
Yeah, again, man, like I always say, thank you and John for always collaborating with me and letting me do this on my channel as well. Again, you guys, whether you're watching on the Suns Jam channel or Suns Geek channel, make sure to subscribe, Hulk smash that like button. If you're watching me for the first time, check out Suns Geek. Just search Suns Geek and you'll find me. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, big shout out to our friend Gavin from the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday to him. They're good friends of ours and everything. So shout out to them. And yeah, just happy to be on this podcast with you and love doing shows with you. And it's funny, I was like, oh, this might be a short show. And all of a sudden here we are an hour later. I love doing these podcasts with you and John, man. You guys just make it so seamless and fun. And you guys are the best, man. I really mean that.
Well, I really appreciate it. You're the best too. I really think that we have something good going. The Suns are playing good. The pods are getting good. We're getting more views. Everyone's kind of joining the fun. So let's continue to build on this. And everybody, go home and love your family.